everyone. This video is a slight introduction to Application Programming Interface. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It refers to a set of protocols, routines, and tools for building software applications. An API specifies how software components should interact with each other, allowing different applications and systems to communicate with each other. In simple terms, an API is a way for different software systems to talk to each other. It enables developers to create applications that can access data or functionality from other systems without even having to know the underlying details of how those systems work. APIs are used in many different contexts, including web development, mobile app development, and enterprise software development. They can be used to access data from external sources, integrate different software systems, automate workflows, and more. APIs can be public or private and may require authentication or other security measures to access. In a restaurant, the waiter acts as an intermediary between the customer and the kitchen staff, similar to how an API acts as an intermediary between clients and software applications. Both waiters and APIs follow protocols and standards to ensure that requests and data are transmitted correctly. APIs enable developers to build new applications and services that can integrate with existing systems and services. Next is a slight introduction to API key. An API key is a unique code or token that is used to authenticate and authorize access to an API. It's a secret key that developers use to identify themselves and their applications when making requests to an API. API keys are typically generated by the provider of the API and are required in order to use the API. The provider of the API usually provides instructions on how to generate an API key and how to include it in API requests. API keys are important for security reasons as they help ensure that only authorized applications and users can access the API. Without an API key, the API provider would not be able to control who can access their API or how often they can access it. API keys can also be used to track usage of an API and to monitor and enforce rate limits. Rate limits are used to prevent abuse of an API by limiting the number of requests that can be made within a certain time period. If an API key is compromised or lost, the API provider may revoke it and issue a new one. This helps to prevent unauthorized access to the API. So, in summary, an API key is a unique code that is used to authenticate and authorize access to an API. It's an important security feature that helps to ensure only authorized applications and users can access the API. The Open Weather API is a popular weather data API that provides current weather data, weather forecast, and historical weather data for locations around the world. The API offers a variety of endpoints for accessing weather data, including the current weather data endpoint, the 5-day or 3-hour forecast endpoint, and the historical weather data endpoint. To use the Open Weather API, we first need to sign up for a free API key on their website. Once we have their API key, we can start making API requests. API requests are usually made over HTTP, which is a protocol for sending and receiving data over the internet. When we make this request, the Open Weather API will respond with a JSON object containing the current weather conditions for a particular location. We can then pass this JSON object and use the weather information in our application. Developers can use the Open Weather API to build weather related applications and services such as weather apps, weather dashboards, and climate monitoring tools. There are several types of APIs, each with its own purpose and design. Here are the most common types of APIs. First one is REST API. A REST or Representational State Transfer API is a type of web service that is based on HTTP protocols. It's designed to allow communication between systems over the internet using HTTP methods such as get, post, put, and delete. REST APIs typically use JSON or XML as the data format for requests and responses. The second one is SOAP API or Simple Object Access Protocol API. It's a type of web service that is based on the SOAP protocol. It's designed to allow communication between systems over the internet using XML messages. SOAP APIs often require more bandwidth and processing power than REST APIs, but they offer more security and reliability. The GraphQL API. A GraphQL API is a type of API that allows clients to request data using a query language. It's designed to be flexible and efficient, allowing clients to specify exactly what data they need and reducing the amount of data that needs to be transformed over the network. So, next we can list some of the advantages and disadvantages associated with API. So, advantages: increased efficiency. API allows developers to integrate services and functionality from different applications and systems, which can help streamline workflows and improve overall efficiency. Improved user experience. APIs can be used to enhance the user experience by providing access to additional features and functionality. This can help increase user engagement and retention. Flexibility. APIs provide a flexible way to add new features or functionality to an application without requiring significant changes to the underlying code. This can help reduce development time and cost. Scalability. APIs can be scaled horizontally and vertically, which makes it possible to handle a large volume of requests and users. Integration. APIs can help businesses integrate different systems and services, which can lead to increased productivity and efficiency. Coming to the disadvantages, first one is complexity. Working with APIs can be complex, especially when dealing with authentication, rate limits, and other technical issues. Security risk. API can pose security risks if they are not properly secured. Unsecured APIs can expose sensitive data and can be exploited by malicious actors to launch attacks. Dependency. Using APIs can create a dependency on the provider of the API. If the provider of the API decides to discontinue the API or make significant changes to it, it can cause disruptions for the applications or services that depend on it. Cost. Some of the APIs may require payment for usage or access to premium features, which can increase costs for businesses. APIs require ongoing maintenance and updates to ensure that they continue to function properly and remain secure. This can add to the overall cost of using APIs. So, in conclusions, APIs provide developers with a powerful tool for integrating different applications and services, streamlining workflows, and enhancing the user experiences. Nonetheless, the benefits of using APIs generally outweigh the disadvantages, making them an essential tool for developers and businesses alike. So, that's all about this presentation. Thank you.